clarity around your money, I will say this, is a huge important way to reduce your fear. Most of our fear is because we don't even know enough about our own financial situation. So any kind of fluctuations out there or changes make us nervous because we don't know how it's going to impact us. And so it's the most important thing in the world is to control your mindset, control your feelings and the thoughts that you're having, and then to be aware of your own financial situation. Hey there, and welcome to Money and You. I'm Michelle Perkins, your host. My search for more fulfilling work led me to career and business coaching, where I stumbled upon a game-changing discovery. Money issues often start with our mindset and habits. You see, our relationship with money is the key to overcoming those frustrating financial obstacles. As an entrepreneur, coach, and problem solver, I'm passionate about helping you create a great relationship with money. Because, turns out, that's the foundation for a limit-free life. Each week on Money and You, I speak with amazing guests about all things money, mindset, practical tips, and everything in between. We're here to give you new insights, education, and empowerment so money can be one of your favorite relationships. So join us for some lively conversations and let's transform your financial life together. Hello, and welcome to a quick, speedy episode of the Money and You show. It's just me today. I'm doing a solo show, and it's going to be super short, so stick with me here. I think it's a prime time right now with so much going on in the world, so much going on with the markets, people's jobs, everything's so uncertain. Some people are fine. A lot of people are freaking out, and people are doing what people do when they're nervous and when they're, kind of scared. And this is where the mindset comes in. And this is where your relationship with money comes in. And this is my favorite topic. So as much as I'm not in favor of what's happening right now, and I have my own concerns, I have learned over the years how to sort of fly above my head and be aware of my thoughts and my feelings about this and try to work with it and not make any decisions right now while my mind might be racing. But the most important thing I feel right now is to take advantage of this moment in time to do a couple of things. One, it's so important right now to do what I just described. When you are in a panic and you're laying in bed thinking, where's my retirement going to go? What's going to happen with my Social Security? What's going to happen with my job? And your mind is racing. The way our brains work, I'm sure if you've listened to the show, you've heard me say this, the way our brains work is to immediately go into fight or flight or survival mode. And when we do that, our brain tends to go negative. I mean, we think we're protecting ourselves by preparing for the worst. And I just want to say, I would try to check yourself on that, to see yourself doing it. And you might not be doing that, but I think a lot of people are. And to remind yourself that whatever your premonitions are about where things are going to go and how bad it could get for you, you do not know. Your brain is trying to tell you something, is sending out like flashing red light signals because it wants to protect you. But that is the ancient survival part of our brain. So try to make sure that you are accessing the conscious part of your brain, the part that will question this, the part that will see take in what you're feeling and maybe remind you that what you're feeling is not a fact. It's a feeling. So your feelings and your thoughts, as we've talked about a lot, are connected, and you really want to observe yourself and see how you can help yourself with this. Do not panic. This is very much like what people tell you when you take your swimming lessons. And if you feel like you're drowning, the worst thing you can possibly do is panic. And it's the same right now. You do not want to panic because when you panic, what do? Your whole nervous system starts firing and lighting up, and your brain is dysregulated, and you cannot do two things. You can't learn well, and you can't make good decisions. So you need to prevent yourself from making any decisions right now, except this one. And this is where, I think number one, do what you can do to regulate your nervous system, whatever it is for you. If you need to go on a run, if you need to meditate, if you need to go play with your grandkids, I don't know, whatever it is that helps you calm your system. And if you don't know what that is, that's a really important thing. You need to find those things. If you're telling yourself, I'm too busy, to have hobbies where I can zen out, that's a mistake. Okay, so think about what you're thinking and think a better thought, because right now, the most important thing is that you're not operating in flight or fight. Or did I say that right? Yeah, flight or fight. Or freeze. That's the other one. Freezing is when we just are paralyzed. We can't make any decisions. We can't do anything. We're just frozen. Here's what you can do. There's so much going on in the world that we have no control over. So very, very important to figure out, what can I do now? Two things that I highly, highly recommend, really all the time, but sometimes we're only motivated when we're feeling like this. Learn about, not just learning about money, or I also think it's a great time to learn more about your career goals and what things are looking like there, and how you can prepare potentially for some kind of change. But learn about your own financial situation, because what I've seen and learned over the course of 15 years of coaching people is they don't know their own financial situations very well. They might know how much they make, but they don't really know how that filters down. So do you have some kind of a budget? Everybody needs to know what they're spending. You might know what you make. You might not even know what you make. Maybe you're a business owner and you know, every month is different. You want to sit down and really take a look at your financials. You want to know what you're spending. This is completely without judgment. This is data collection. So, but it's fascinating what we don't know. We might not know how much debt we have. We might not know what are in our savings. We very much might not know what's in our investments right now because it's moving around so much. So take the time. We should be doing this anyway. I teach a whole course on this and how to do it simply, and how to, what I call date your money. So you're spending time with it. You're getting to know it. But people tend to put that off until some later date. And then the reality is they don't know their own financial situation. And very common, very normal, probably more normal than those people who actually do. But now is a great time to understand it, to understand all your revenue streams, to understand all the spending that you're doing from all different places. And these days it's a little more complicated. We're spending out of our bank accounts. We're spending on credit cards. We're spending in Venmo or, a million different places. So we want to get our hands around that and get this clear in your mind. Clarity around your money, I will say this, is a huge important way to reduce your fear. Most of our fear is because we don't even know enough about our own financial situation. So any kind of fluctuations out there or changes make us nervous because we don't know how it's going to impact us. And so it's the most important thing in the world is to control your mindset, control your feelings and the thoughts that you're having, and then to be aware of your own financial situation. I mean, how much are you spending on your adult kids? I know I spend plenty on my adult kids. I don't even really like to add it up, but because I love giving them stuff and taking care of things. But we have to look at everything and to really go through all aspects. What ducks do you have in a row? How's your insurance? Is it about to expire? Is that going to change? There's so many questions. We could talk about this for a long time, but make a big laundry list, take a big inventory of all the different things you have going on in your financial life, and wrap your brain around the actual numbers, because we don't necessarily do that. And make a commitment to continue to do that, because as things continue to change, you don't want to be wondering how this is going to affect you. You want to know at least what you have going on, and what you would need. And even if it gives you a sense of more security, then when you do your budget, look through it and see what the necessities are versus the nice to haves. So what could you get rid of if you needed to that wouldn't really make a huge impact in your life? And if these things do make a big impact in your life, where are the priorities? What are you going to keep even if things look bad? And what are you going to get rid of? So I think it's a good opportunity not to worry as much. And sure, you're going to worry. There's going to be fear and doubt. That is going to come into your brain. No question about it. But what you can do is when it does, you check yourself and you say, okay, let's just look at what we can do. Let's look at going forward and how can I play this game and take my spending and categorize it and figure out what's the most important stuff. What's the the absolute necessities. What are the things that I really don't want to lose? And then what are the things that if they went, it wouldn't be the worst thing ever. The other third thing I want to talk about is savings, because when we don't know our numbers, it's harder to save, obviously. And so now that we know our numbers well, what can I save? Because I think now, you probably remember when COVID started and all kinds of things were happening and people's businesses were shutting down or people, were getting furloughed and all of that great stuff. A lot of us were like, oh yeah, that emergency savings. I wish I had that. I wish I'd done what people told me to do, which was have 3-6 months of emergency savings, which I don't like to call emergency. I like to call them peace of mind savings. It's much nicer, but that's actually what it's doing. It's giving you peace of mind that, if things get more expensive or if, I lose some income, I can still take care of my regular bills. So if you haven't been saving, I would think about how you could, I hate saying this because I feel like people are thinking that that's a prediction that you're going to need it. I don't know if you're going to need it. None of us know if you're going to need it. But when things are changing, which they are now, it's important to have. It's just important to have that peace of mind of knowing if I happen to lose my job, I have X amount of, savings. When the economy was really great, I was feeling pretty comfortable saying, at least 3 months of emergency or peace of mind savings. I think it's better to have 6 to a year if you can. You have to look at your own situation. But of course, if you're not looking at your own situation, go back to step number 2, look at your numbers, and regardless, think about how you could save a bit. And think about, once you have your budget, then you know what your costs are for a month. So then you know what it's going to take to save for 6 months, for example. And if you think that's impossible, cut out those things that we already decided could be cut out. See if you can save 6 months of, this lesser amount of spending that you're able to do in a pinch. So those are really the top things that I think you can set your mind to, put your attention on. Where you put your attention is where your energy goes. That's Dr. Joe Dispenza. And I think that it's super important to put your energy towards something productive and forward thinking versus any kind of panic or even complaining and venting, certainly watching the news or looking at social media and getting yourself all freaked out. Don't do that. Go ahead and learn some things, figure out your own financial situation, and then figure out how you can save. If you see that saving 6 months worth of peace of mind savings you feel impossible, save something. That's all I can say, because a lot of times people think I can't do that, so I won't do anything. That's the freeze part. The fight, flight, or freeze, that's freezing. Don't freeze. Find something, start, and commit to adding to it as you go along, as this becomes easier, because it will become easier. You'll get more in a groove with this. You'll build a habit, and then you'll be able to add an extra little bit to each month of saving or whatever. So I hope that's helpful right now. I know that it's a really unusual time. I don't know where it's going to go. And I think most of the people talking about it, they'll talk about it all day, but they don't know either. So could it get worse? Possibly. Could it get better? possibly we'll find out. And in the meantime, use your time and energy productively. And in the end, this might mean you just have a really good understanding of your finances out of, that will be a good thing to come out of a difficult situation. And that's what you need anyway to kind of launch your financial future. You need all of these things. So better to start now, better to take this time to do it. So that's my show for today. And I actually hope that you will take this in. I know that this is helpful, these 3 particular things. So thanks so much. And if you want more from Limit Free Life, you can go to limitfreelife.com. I've got a newsletter that I would love for you to sign up for, and that way you can continue to get blogs and information on things that I'm doing with my clients and with other people, and listen to this podcast. The Money and You podcast is great for bringing fabulous guests on and getting great information and education about money. When things are, in flux, educating yourself is another really productive thing to do. So thanks so much, and we'll see you next week.